Apocalypse now, four horsemen riding dirty. Death on the left, keep the Glock sturdy. Famine in the kitchen, hunger like a beast. War paint ready, unleash the inner beast. Pestilence drop, spread fear in the streets. Disease hit the block, no doc can compete. Horseman information, skies turning black. Future looking bleak, no turning back. Four horsemen riding on the edge of night. Chaos in the wake, no end in sight. Four horsemen bringing dark to the light. End days marching, get ready for the fright. Death smirking, souls counting in the tally. Coffins on standby, final ride in the alley. War ain't a game, got the war drum stumping. Battalion on the move, always be something. Famine hit the block, food vanish in the mist. Empty pots, empty bellies, can't even twist. Pestilence lingering, bodies hit the floor. Disease knocking at the door, can't ignore. Four horsemen riding on the edge of night. Chaos in the wake, no end in sight. Four horsemen bringing dark to the light. End days marching, get ready for the fright.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Four Horsemen podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. Scott Hummer, Donald H. Huth, Miko Wolf, the roaming prepper. He's right here. He's right with me. What's up, brother? Wisconsin farm boy, Grit and Grace, our faithful moderator. Thank you so much for all your assistance here this evening. Gen X Outdoors, good to see you. Teresa Buchanan, Amy King, Wisconsin farm boy. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. I believe it was just Turmoil Tuesday over on the old VP's channel. Vision Preparedness, thank you for joining us this evening. And if you don't know everybody here by now, you got some issues. You got some issues, but welcome to the Four Horsemen. And yeah, we're all here. We're happy. We're doing our thing, and we're going to continue to do the damn thing. Gentlemen, I have convened you this evening for the Four Horsemen podcast because I got some questions.
Why have you brought us here?
I got some questions, and I know that the folks on this panel here can come up with some fabulous answers, and especially the folks in the chat. Please don't hesitate to throw your input in the chat as well. Classroom participation is highly advised.
The answer for the first question is pie.
Pie.
Okay.
The
answer to the second question is number 64.
Pie and 64. Livingston Man, are you writing these things down? Put them in the old Rolodex. Pie and 65. Okay, so without any further ado, let's see if Pie is going to take it home here tonight. Livingston Man, can you do me a favor? Could you pick who will answer first? Let's see how noble the Livingston Man is. Will he take it himself, or will he pass the torch?
What the fuck way is he?
He's doing some demented Nemo.
Catch a tiger by his toe, and if he hollers, let him go. Eeny. Mo. It's you, Trent.
Okay, all right. Vision Preparedness. The first question.
The fairest election possible.
Not bad. Free and fair elections.
Bubblegum in a dish. I mean, what else you want here? You know? It's the fucking butter battle book.
Oh man. Okay, so Vision Preparedness.
Yeah.
What event do you think would trigger the average American to finally start prepping? And would it already be too late by the time the event happens?
Well,
Pie was a decent answer.
Pie is a decent answer. That's decent. I would say it would have to be a major power outage, and if you lived in the area where that major power outage is, it will be too late to start prepping. Yeah, that's my answer. I'm gonna stick to it.
That's a great answer. The roaming prepper, your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think it'll take to get the average American to start prepping? And do you think it's too late by the time it happens?
I honestly think, well, we're already financially like doing this slow rumble down the hill. I think the market crash or something like that would be precipitated by essentially some kind of financial issue, or even worse, you can't get your money. Like what happened with Amazon earlier this week,
Yep.
which was a technical glitch. Imagine if someone went and burned the place down deliberately, and all of a sudden you can't get on Facebook, you can't get on, banking apps. And I think that if that happens, though, it's going to be a major issue, and whatever's still running is going to get overloaded. That's when you're going to see that big panic. Is essentially financial, maybe the internet, but more financial.
Okay.
Suddenly drop, and they start trying to boop their card, and it doesn't boop.
Yeah. So I guess for some folks, the card carriers, right? That the folks who always swipe the card for everything. If that happened, I guess then it would indeed be too late to start preparedness at that juncture, right? I mean, if you don't have any cash and everything's in the bank and the ones and zeros are all zeroed out, so to speak, it's too late for you to start preparing at that point. The ship has sailed. So, Livingston Man, your thoughts. What do you think is going to take for the average American to start prepping? And if that event happens, is it too late for them to start at that point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What's gonna like wake people up? It's usually what catches big news is especially natural disasters, because like that's what happens. Tsunamis, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, natural disasters, and they're localized, and then so everybody outside of the blast zone sympathizes and sends thoughts and prayers, and the poor bastards that are subject to it are left to their own devices essentially, and for better or worse they tend to pull through, but it's always like a human rights catastrophe. And my vision of the future is that these events will continue until, like, you'll be watching them closer and closer, like in the lens of your cell phone, until it's you that it's happening to, before you actually care. And to concur with the rest of the panel, by then it's too late. I think that for the vast majority of people, basic prepping for like just tomorrow or a disaster is a thing that they just won't do out of some arrogance or hubris,
it can't happen.
Where it won't happen here, it can't happen here. But that's, do you know where it fucking happens? It's fucking here. Every time you can say that, it doesn't happen here until it happens there, man. And talk about insurance. The easiest thing you can do is make sure you got something that can keep the rain off your head and food in your belly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
At least you're in control of it, and you don't have to ask some CEO if you're allowed to have it.
So the event would be what, a major weather event?
It usually is.
So you think the event would be a major weather event, and there's no time to prep when the storm is upon you.
And that being said, and we've seen major weather events. We saw New Orleans get rocked. We've seen like when West Virginia got wrecked. Well, these hurricanes, they happen. People get left behind. People get stranded. They have to make do for themselves. You've seen it time and time again. The lessons are there to learn.
Oh, totally. I agree with that. 100%. Famous last words, says kill it and grill it. It never happens here.
And it wouldn't necessarily be a weather event. It could be an earthquake, a flood, some other We sometimes think weather like Hurricane Katrina or Harvey.
Yeah,
But
it's something that you can see coming, or there's a lot of things that, like you said, with the earthquakes, that's something.
What did we learn? Earthquakes are treated as a weather event.
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Went to a survival seminar with a fella, and he allegedly at least schooled us to some things like that. Earthquakes are considered weather events because they can trigger atmospheric phenomenon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I did not know that prior, but earthquakes are considered weather events. And you can get things from earthquakes like liquefaction of the ground, where you get like the mud floods and mudslides and things like that. A lot of things can happen with an earthquake.
This happened in Hobbs, New Mexico twice this year. They had fires, and then you have no ground cover. And then they got hit with rain from God knows where, a month later. And there was
And the
nothing to
whole
hold the
side's
soil
like,
in place. And it just right down
terrible. It's terrible.
Riodoso and Cloudcroft. It was pretty bad. When you
That's-
see like a Jeep floating down the street and
Yeah.
people are like running away, that's not a good.
So, yeah, what I mean, like these things are generally they're localized, or at least let's call it regionalized.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, they cause massive devastation and upheaval to the communities and whatever that like they wash over and do this stuff, whatever the event is. But typically, it here in America, at least for now, it's not like war and it's not like pestilence. All right, but it's just a mother nature, like this bitch, like God, like
She has her way with people.
angry, like why? I'm sorry, we're sorry, okay, like, but we're not. And you know what it is our as humanity. I don't know if I should drop a hot take so soon into the live stream.
I'll have a Twizzler and hear it out.
Why Mother Nature has become more aggressive in her approach is because that we have become more aggressive in our approach towards her. We poison the environment. We dump like poison in rivers. We like dump all this, toxic soot and every other thing. Muck campfires, not the same thing, dude. We abuse this beautiful planet we've been given. Not us personally. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming this fucking way things are, man. But it is that like that we're kind of all sitting back like low key understanding that like we burning hot in the wintertime. Like I ain't never seen clouds like that when I was a kid. I ain't never seen fucking this kind of thing before. And it's because that's real, man. What do you think is going on?
Yeah.
Can't tell me that climate change is not real. And it's not about who's responsible. It's real.
It's the reality that it changes, and it is changing.
It's a Mother Nature's response to what we have been. It's a give and take relationship, a Dutch door, and the door swings both ways.
Well, it's a correcting system.
I was going to say she's trying to correct
to us. Her immune system is trying to kill us because we are trying to kill her.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
You got that right. I'll go with that.
It's going to correct us off the planet.
So I do have another couple of questions for you gentlemen here this evening. Pete, I'm going to sling this one to you first. What do you think is more important in a crisis? Is it the skills or the supplies, and why?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have to say the skills, but it would also require presence of mind. Because if I know how to, make a fire or pitch a tent or whatever the requisite skill for the occasion is, and I succumb to panic and I start to not function well, then clearly my skills are useless, and the gear would be dependent on my ability to use them. It's a bit of a balancing act when you think about it, because obviously you can have a bunch of skills. You still need the tent and the firewood and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I would say the skills, and I would preface that or put in air parentheses, so to say, that you need to have the presence of mind on how to use the skill under duress,
That's a
under a
great
stressful
point.
situation. It's easy to figure out the tent in the backyard, but when you're out, up in the mountains by Mount Marcy, which you guys know where I'm talking about,
Yep.
and you're
Yep.
trying to pitch the tent and
Rain's
it's raining on you, or the wind's hitting you and the rain's coming, you don't do as well because
Yeah.
there are other variables. So
Yeah. What do they call that? The analysis paralysis, where you kind of get overwhelmed by the problem and can't get to a result quick enough to make a difference. So yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I think it's definitely a balancing act between the skills and the gear, because you can have the best fire starting skills in the world.
If you can do this,
The best fire starting skills in the world, but if you don't have the firewood, you're gonna have a problem. Your embers only as good as the wood that you can burn with it. So, yeah, totally. Vision, preparedness, your thoughts, my friend. The skills or the supplies, and why? Which one's more important?
I think they go hand in hand. It's like, walking and wearing shoes. And because without one, the other one's no good in either case. So, but to be honest, you need, thank you, my dear, appreciate you. You need the skills, because you can acquire the stuff if you don't have it.
true.
You can acquire it. And that's just it. So I would say if I have to choose between the two, it's the skills, because I can get the stuff.
Yeah.
By hook or crook, I'm going to get the stuff. So
I'd have to agree that somebody with the skills would be a more resourceful individual over somebody who had just the stuff and had never taken it out of the box. Livingston Man and I talk often about we would rather have somebody who had at least tried it once versus somebody who's never done it before.
I'll hire the guy who did it once versus the guy that never did it before every time. Like because the guy who did it once has a very harsh lesson in mind of how you don't fucking do it. You hope.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Nobody was perfect. Eddie Van Halen sucked at the guitar when he first picked it up, bro. Sucked. Probably
you can teach somebody the skill. You can teach somebody how to use the skill if they have the stuff or acquire it.
Yeah.
With the skill comes the ability to source the stuff rather than a pile of stuff. And you'd be surprised. And Mike's not anymore. Been up against jobs where here was a guy who was given a pile of stuff, but didn't have the skills. And yeah, a guy with the skills will build his own pile of stuff.
Or we have the stuff, and we have the skill to make freeze-dried survival food for all of y'all with
That's
a
what we're
special
calling
blend.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah. True.
Survival blend.
Survival blend.
Made from survivors.
We're also branching out into we're making bird food. You just get 20 pounds. It's you just bring the birds around.
Yep,
we have
keep your chickens happy, right?
We have predator blend. We're making hunting bait. We're doing all kinds of things.
Game blend, everything.
Going up.
Yes, we are. We're ready to go worldwide.
So Livingston Man, the skills or the supplies, and why? I'm pretty sure I already know where you're going because you've already chimed in.
Yeah, I kind of did.
I think it's
with the
unanimous.
panel. I'll take skills over supply. Skills and supplies, a winning combo.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that with no skills and supplies, you're going to end up with an inferior end result. that just could have been better. You're gonna, or at best, a learning experience. But tomorrow morning we have to tear this down and do it right the next time.
And then you waste time and resources.
Whereas with experience,
maybe you're not wasting anything, right?
Comes the ability to kind of know what you need and what you want, and a more efficient means to source materials rather than like just giving a pile of them and wasting them and not doing it right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the tricky one. That's the tricky one. Waste not, want not, especially in a situation where resupply is not happening, right? I mean, if you're wasting lumber, let's say, right, just tearing up boards for stupid shit.
Can I tell you a real world scenario? I came across a screen door that was repaired with, it's just a screen door. It's 1.25 inches thick, 5 quarters.
Yeah.
And then it had some rot at the bottom. So what they decided to do was sandwich that rot between two
new boards,
2x6 pressure treated boards.
Oh, that'll work good.
They put 32 screws per side. That'll hold.
Yeah, that'll
That
hold.
sounds like someone that got pissed at the door.
Yeah.
This was a person
that doesn't sound like it was fun.
That's not what I would call
this is a person
carpentry.
who wasted like a huge amount of the estate's resources, especially considering these are like fasteners are somewhat reusable, but you can't make them yourself. I mean, unless you're out here fucking forging your own nails or like twisting your own screws, dude. They are sort of a finite resource.
Yeah.
Here's a guy just put 3 pounds of stainless steel screws into a fucking door.
There were stainless steel screws.
That was garbage to begin with. Like, I appreciate the effort you put into this, but bro,
please.
I would have fired you for this, or at least I would have made you take every single one of those out and do it again.
Yep.
To your question, I also think having the skills, if you come across resources, right? If the four of us were in, some abyss and we went into a store and we said, we need to perform this end result, we would sit and because of our skill, we would know what to get. We wouldn't get frivolous or excessive things.
While y'all in the store, like robbing the place, I'm just outside cutting everybody's catalytic converters off. Like, y'all leaving the place. Y'all leaving the place.
What about the gas, man?
Out of all the tanks. Yeah.
Everybody go to leave. Just
I'm taking off belts and hoses.
Good golly.
Friends will come back with another belt. Hey, I found him. That pickup for somebody. Then you'll have 3. Cole will have a triad.
Well,
Travis Medic is with us. Evening.
Travis, good to see you, my friend. Prepper 101 in the house. Paul Conroy, Kane Corso, Michelle the Great. Thank you very much. Good making meth moves, says Michelle the Great.
God.
Prepper for the ages. Good to see you. I think it's basically a unanimous decision that this you got to have the skills,
and you can build those now.
Yeah,
you can do this now. All this YouTube, all this stuff. Any question you have,
ask it.
And there's somebody who's done it, and somebody who's willing to like show you how to do it. Like, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
There's, in my opinion, there's no excuse for you to not know something. And I'm not talking to anybody in particular. I'm talking to everybody right now. You need to know something. You got that stupid thing in your fucking hand all day long, and you can ask it any question. Or you sitting there doom scrolling, watching reels all day, but you couldn't figure out how to unclog the toilet. I'm not feeling that. Imagine being so helpless that you need someone else to like manage the infrastructure of not just like society. Like, that's one thing. Let the firefighters and the Con Ed and them do their thing. But imagine like your toilet overflows and you don't even know what to do. That's unacceptable, man. That's where no one is coming to save you. You take a wicked Duke upstairs and that shit starts coming over the top of the bowl. Now it's fucking go time. No one is coming to save you. What do you? That's your house.
That's a visual, yo.
Dookie out the ceiling. Oh, good. That's a real good look. That's a good look. You could have asked Google how to plunge toilet, but fuck that. That won't happen here. That won't happen here.
The Livingston Man is absolutely so absolutely correct.
You know, now I got Mr. Hanky from that damn South.
And I speak from experience.
Oh,
Okay. You think I repeatedly fucking flushed out the upstairs bathroom? I fuck it up repeatedly on purpose. I'm like, landlord needs to buy a new toilet. He's like, I'm not. I'm like, fuck it. I'll keep fucking it up then.
This stream is what we would call circling the bowl.
Listen, you gotta stay prepped, bro. Imagine if I didn't have GFCIs in the bathroom. I shit the dookie already.
I gotta chill before I take a drink. Real quick.
Shit the dookie already. It's fucking overflowing over the floor. I'm like, I need to blow dry my hair. I plug the blow dryer in. Not even ground fault circuit interrupter protected.
That deserves a special sound.
Let's make sure you don't plug it in on a Wednesday, Livingston Man. Okay,
Yeah.
so the next question for everybody is let's start with we're gonna go with Vision first on this one.
All right.
If all comms went down tomorrow, what would your first move be, and who would you try to reach first?
Well, considering if all comms go down, that's when the no comms plan kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
If a ham radio works, then I'm putting out a message to everybody, and that's it. But if no comms go down, I'm starting to get out the necessary tools to fortify the homestead as those that come and know they're supposed to be here and prepare for their arrival.
Awesome.
That's what I'm doing.
The roaming prepper thoughts. If the comms went down tomorrow, your first move, and who would you try to reach first?
Well, I'm assuming the missus and I are in touch. You know, like we're not separated for some reason within the town. After that, if all the comms, like the typical comms, went down, I would go find the guys in the veterans group we're in. And we've got 2 ham radio operators and 4 others with GMRS licenses. And we're going to start picking frequencies. I know some of them have put up repeaters of their own in town. And we're going to start getting local news from each other and eavesdrop on the Aries group, who's about 2 miles away. Those are the emergency ham radio guys who work with the Red Cross. Yep. And I'm going to eavesdrop on them. And at that point, hopefully we can start coordinating efforts. Another trick we learned during Harvey, some of the guardsmen we talked about before everything hit was, hey, if the phones go out, there was a Panera literally on a hill. It was like on a high ground. We knew if that flooded, we all had a major problem. And if we said if the comms go down.
Did you say a Panera?
Yeah, or coffee. I don't remember. Some coffee shop, a Starbucks, a Panera. It was up on. It was
okay. You mean like actually? I thought
no,
Panera
like
was like a word for some geological feature. Like
no.
La Mesa.
No, it's like a sandwich.
I never heard that one before.
Yeah.
And we all agreed at 7 in the morning, 7 at night, if comms went out, anyone who needed help would go there and file. So we'd go, but the comms never went down. But we already had a plan that we would meet there, and if somebody needed help or needed something, they would go there, and then we'd get exchanged lists of needs. Never came to that, fortunately, but yeah, as far as that, I'd try to get a hold of all my people here locally, because getting news across town in and of itself will be a major feat if that happened.
Oh,
then
totally.
Hopefully the ham radio guys can convey messages to my son at his base and my daughter in her city. You know, then we start going out from there. I think though the local scene you have to manage pretty quick.
Yeah. I know with my group, we had initially set up circles on the map, right? We would put everybody's location on the map and put all the dots out. And then we would take a compass, a compass with the needle and the pencil, and do our measurements for how far we thought it was a decent distance, walking distance. I figured 9 miles circle, so 4.5 miles in either direction, and then just set your compass to that distance and put it on your spot and spin it, and then do the same with everybody else's. And where those things overlap are great places to meet up because it's the shortest distance between you guys, right? And I did this on county-sized maps, not talking like state-sized maps. It's a lot easier to do when you zoom in a little bit further. And wherever those rings,
can find them online.
Tell them about laminating your maps.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing too, man. You can buy a laminator on Amazon for like $30. It comes with 100 sheets that you can laminate your stuff in. I highly recommend you do it, especially for any like home printed maps, topo maps, stuff like that. You can write on them with a grease pencil. It stays for a while, and then you can just wipe it off. They're handy.
Laminator.
Yeah, laminator. Fantastic. Really great.
Weatherproof your paper products.
Great investment. And it's not like industrial laminator. These things are going to break down if you're folding them. So consider rolling your maps up.
I've been laminating my $100 bills. Like, it's going to be worse.
Smoky Blazer, good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. Livingston Man, the question rolls on to you, my friend. If all the comms went down tomorrow, what would your first move be, and who would you try to reach first?
I'm with Rob B, actually. He was like, I'm just going to start yelling. Because I assume that I'm going to be within my normal triangle that I usually operate within. Like 2 people I need to get involved with and figure out what the fuck's going on. Like, are you guys good? What the hell's going on? Can't get a hold of nobody. It's my wife and my boss. Like, figure out what's up. We running this shit. And then probably would ride it out. Like, you know, it's one of them things like we've seen blackouts before. We've seen these internet outages, these cyber attacks and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that eventually this was sustained. Like, okay, like, damn, shit still don't work. I would just end up like at a sort of a like you said, a communal like place. I would like kind of like go out and like venture out like Gray Man into the society. I'd go to like the Hannaford or something, see what the fuck is going on here. You know what I mean? Like observe, figure out what's up. But I this is Livingston. There's not going to be like fucking massive civil unrest and upheaval going on. Everybody's going to be like, fuck it. Actually, don't tempt me, bro. Don't black out my social media. Christ, I can finally just be quiet and not have to fight strangers on the internet about dumb shit. Their great reset might not be so bad. What if we all just were forced to shut the fuck up? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, you know what's even better? We might actually have to sit and talk to people face to face.
oh, play a game of cards, or like imagine like we're all just human beings. I mean, I can't imagine it.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
Not even 12 years ago.
They didn't.
You had the internet to check on your cousin in California or something, but you wanted to see your friends. You didn't see them on your phone. You went and found them at the bar, or, you know, go to a game and drink and curse at each other in person.
Yeah, I think for me, if all the comms went down tomorrow, first move is get in the vehicle and physically get in contact with people. Hey, what are you hearing? What do you see? Do you have any service? What's going on? Does this work? Does that work? You're on a different provider than me. Is this across multiple networks? Just my personal network? Figure out how extensive the problem is, because you know when the comms go down like that, man, it's gonna be tough to determine how far reaching it is until you can get back and touch base with everybody else, right? So you can get in contact with the rest of society and say, oh shit, well, this isn't just me. This is like the entire Eastern Seaboard is down.
Yeah.
All the comms are down the Eastern Seaboard. And now I keep hearing these funny booms outside, and they sound like sonic booms in the air. There might be a maybe an incursion, maybe drones, maybe something. Who knows?
Not only does it sound like relaxing, but it sounds exciting at the same time. Like I feel like I would just be like, finally, some peace.
Kind of like COVID was. You went out and drove, and you were like the only one on the road. Yeah,
exactly. It's just, I feel like I'm not advocating for it, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't feel like some sense of damn, it's
I'm
nice
glad.
and quiet here.
I'm glad I'm not the only person who does that, because during the Rona, I would go out once a day and just drive the town if I had to pick something up that we realized we had a gap. But during the hurricanes, like after the wind died down, there'd be like, well, there will be a 1 hour gap between this group of wind and this storm front because they're coming, they come in waves. And my wife and I'd be like, let's go drive around and see what trees fell down. And we'd be back in 20 minutes, but we kept going out in the middle of the chaos. And there were like 2 cars out there. I think that's good information, though, because you get to see it without the clutter of humanity.
Yep.
The clutter of humanity. I like
Doug, good to see you. Thank you for stopping in this evening. Independent Many United says, great conversation. I agree highly. Independent Many United. A lot of great conversations happen on the Four Horsemen podcast for sure.
Yes, indeed.
To imagine a life post SHTF, I think that what you should do is try to imagine like the historical life that's already been documented, like in history. Yeah. Read about like feudalism, like the medieval era, like the times gone by.
Yeah, I don't even think you have to go back quite that far.
But I think I do think, and I think that we already live in we live in a feudal society, but we don't call it that. But if you were to look at it, it is like massive landowners own like large tracts and we rent from them, and like we're extracting, they extract their tribute from us, and so on and so forth. With the breakdown of rule of law and whatever else, you will be subjected to this sort of, hi, how you doing? Damn, I did the thing, didn't I?
Must have. Talking with his hands. Look at him go.
Fuck me up. I wish I hadn't seen it. We already live in a modern feudal society. Okay, like unless you own property, and you're one of the lucky ones, because the rest of us probably might never, without massive social upheaval. And what does property ownership even mean this day and age, and what is it? It's get off my lawn, essentially. But like your lawn, like you need to pay like your yearly subscription to the government because they actually own it. And if they want to build a freeway through it, like, well, they're going to just do it anyway. So fuck your private property. I have argued so much as like 2 years ago that the manor system, the aristocratic Mr. I own everything, whether it's BlackRock, Warren Buffett, George Soros, all these guys, ain't nothing changed since the revolution. We all just slaves out here performing a dance like marionettes for people who get to rake in all the profits, and then better still,
well,
it doesn't even trickle down anymore.
We replaced how would I say it, an aristocracy based on blood with an aristocracy based on money.
Exactly.
In most cases, there's some that are still literal kings, but
it costs $59.87 to leave the house.
Yeah, here in New York, for sure it does.
Today.
For sure. Just to walk outside, it's what was it? $59 and how much?
I don't know, like probably 81 cents accounted for tax, and they'd be throwing shit on the bill. You look at the invoice, it's like, what the fuck you gonna do about it? Fee $2. You're like,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. No.
Corporate America is absolutely
vile,
raping, choking, and violating every single person who is not an ultra rich person. Kim Kardashian, of all people, had the audacity to admit that she would like to be more in touch with people because she didn't know how much a gallon of milk cost. And she thought that that was absurd on her part. Here is a person of this stature admitting that they're completely out of touch. They don't have absolutely no idea how it works. They don't know how much. They think a banana costs $20. Okay. And these are the people who are simultaneously either telling you who to vote for or running for office themselves. And you wonder why the country is in the condition it's in, because the people who are in control of how it works have no idea that a fucking banana does not cost $20 and that you cannot grow them in America, and that they don't even know how much a gallon of milk costs, but expect you to soak up the fucking impact of their economic decisions based on their privilege, but not yours. That's not a communist leftist message. That's a fucking reality message. That's today.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Yeah. Well said, Livingston Man. So my next question, I'm going to kick this one to the Livingston Man first. You haven't gone first yet tonight, so this one's going to go to you first.
I think word count, I'm winning though.
So this question has a follow up afterwards. What do you think is the most overrated prepper item you see people wasting money on? And then the follow up is what is the most underrated one?
All right, overrated. This is an excellent question. Fucking hate it.
It is.
You ain't stumped me. I just need to think about it.
I'm not
used to you calling on me first.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, Trent, so we need to call on him
don't
first.
want to descend into chaos right off the bat.
Right into the fire. What is the most overrated prepper item you see people wasting their money on, Livingston Man? I'll tell you mine right now. It's EMP shield. And their money back guarantee, right? So if you get EMP'd, you can just send them
get the money back.
You can send them an email and tell them that it didn't work. Modern EMPs, 10,000 volts per square meter on the ground measured. That's a modern EMP weapon. That's what it delivers. 10,000 volts per square meter on the ground measured. There ain't a fucking wire in that thing that's going to survive 10,000 volts per square meter.
All right, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with pre-made survival kits. Those are generally meh.
Not surviving.
Right. Maybe there's one good item in it and the rest of it's trash, or you have to I don't know, really suffer or practice your way through this thing. But yeah, pre-made survival kits are generally a bad idea, in my opinion. What you should do is assemble a survival kit from curated items that have and put your own thing together. I got this 101 piece of shit from Amazon, and what you have is one good piece and 100 other pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And
or you get the first aid kit, and it has a few more high-end items and 500 band-aids, and you're like, I could have bought that at Kroger.
And a cool pouch shit comes with it, and it's you're paying for the pouch.
So,
yeah, it's true.
I would say stuff that's real quick. There's a difference. I'm going to call it. There's cheap, and there's inexpensive. Those are different.
Yeah.
When you see the thing, when you're like 1,080 fucking piece fucking EMT Drama kit is $28.99. I promise you that that's some bullshit. Like, you know, but
Yeah, if it sounds too good to be true, it generally is, right?
Yes.
or it's literally the size of the picture. It's this big. It's like, you know.
Yeah, you just bought a piece of paper that said all this stuff on it. Sorry. I've seen people get shafted over by that. So you think it's the all-in-one survival kit is the one thing that most people waste their money on. What do you think is the one thing that is underrated, Livingston Man? What's the most underrated preparedness item in your opinion?
Just, shelter.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Besides the first aid is applicable within the first 3 or 4 minutes. Then the shelter immediately comes after that in the first like couple hours. Inclement weather and lack of shelter will kill you in a couple hours. Lack of food and water, you won't die from that for like days to weeks, but you know, lack of shelter will kill you in a couple hours, man. And I've been privy to it, and you all have, if you're honest with yourself. I remember being young, working job sites, and I went out, hot, brutal summer day, but then a thunderstorm came through. Temperature dropped 65 degrees, hail and rain. I was completely soaking wet. Could have went hypothermal. Like, was completely unprepared for the situation. Like, it can happen. Just because it's hot out doesn't mean that you can't get cold.
Oh no, absolutely.
That's right. Okay?
Very, very good. So shelter, the most underrated. The roaming prepper. What do you think is the most overrated item, and then the most underrated?
Overrated are very hard to decipher. A lot of the tactical stuff, and I think somebody even mentioned it in the chat, because there are a lot of knockoffs for starters. You know, if I put my like battle rattle on, I would look like Call of Duty went out with a hangover and had a child. It would be awful. It would be functional, but I think, you know, some people will spend a lot of money on, you know, helmets, even firearms, and they don't have a competency with them. They're like, you know, I have this awesome AR-15, a Glock, whatever, and I've literally seen a guy do this. He went to the range with me, fell in love. I have an HK. He went and bought one. That's not a cheap gun. He shot it once at the range. 6 months later, I'm asking him, hey, you know, have you gone back to training? You take that concealed handgun course? Oh, no, I shot it, and then I put it in a little bag by my bedstand. Did you clean it? I don't remember. And it's like, what?
Nope.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff, if you're not training with it and you don't validate its function, it's going to become an impedance. It's not. You'd be better off just, you know,
Not
sticking magazines in your pocket.
Yeah.
Or in a one of those stupid drawstring pouches that the kids wear on the teams, and just have that, then have this impedance on you that you try to run and you can't run because you haven't run with it before. As far as underrated, I guess it's a two-part. Rain gear and shoes, I think, are underrated because at the end of the day, you're going to be on your feet, and the rain gear, especially the higher end stuff, could protect you from certain types of chemicals. And just when I say fallout, I'm not necessarily talking radioactive fallout, but if there's a fire, for instance, you're going to have ash and garbage coming down on you. You can hose that off while you're still wearing it and send that away. And a good pair of boots or shoes. You know, we've all said it on videos. Like, you look at 9/11. You know, the buildings are coming down and there are people running down the street in high heels and hard bottom shoes, you know, business shoes.
Yeah, they're dressed for work that day, you know.
Yeah. And my sister worked downtown for years in Manhattan, and she left a pair of sneakers in the office, and she toted a pair of sneakers in her backpack because she just knew, I don't want to run or walk home in high heels. High heels were for the meetings. Sneakers were for going to and from.
Totally.
So,
totally. I think your rain gear is a great point because you know, we know that shelter is like one of the most important things, right? And when you can wear your shelter, you can continue your journey without having to stop and shelter someplace, right? You can just continue moving. You got your poncho on, you've got some Gore-Tex pants and some waterproof boots. You're good to go, man. Just keep on pushing through, put your head down and walk until the rain stops and keep on walking. Because when you're bugging out, your point is to get from point A to point B as quick as freaking possible, or get out of danger zone as quick as possible. Stopping is not gaining ground on getting away from danger, right? So
people really underestimate how long it takes to get home on foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big one. The poncho and the whoopee. Yeah, you can't go wrong. I would always add to that the Gore-Tex pants, waterproof boots, Gore-Tex pants and waterproof boots, because that poncho is only going down so far, and then it's going to soak you from the bottom up, and then osmosis is going to take over, and you're going to wick all that water up into your pants eventually, and you're going to get
dump
cold
it all right on your lower calves and right into your boots.
Yeah.
Also, you're walking through heavy, like wet vegetation, or wherever you're in the boondocks. The Gore-Tex pants I often found were more useful than the jacket.
Right. After the rain, because you know, like you said, all the grass is wet. You're walking through that. You're going to get soaked if you don't have some type of waterproof pants on. Right. Totally. Totally.
If we're really going to go here, let's talk about that. With the Gore-Tex, actually, your best course of action is to be as static as possible wearing it. Like, you're essentially wearing it as a tent, chilling, let it rain on you. Because if you try to walk around wearing that,
you sweat to death.
You will get more wet sweating than you would have if you just got fucking rained on.
Totally. Trent, what are your thoughts, my friend? What do you think is the most overrated prepper item you see people wasting money on, and what is the most underrated one?
Well, I'm going to start with the most underrated one would be physical fitness.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking, you know, walking around looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger or this, that, and the other. I'm talking about being able to walk 3 miles in an hour, because the average person, that is the average. You should be able to walk at least 3 miles in 1 hour. You ain't got to go out and bench 500 pounds. You don't have to go out and run a 1 minute mile. But you need to get from, like you said, Mike, point A to point B as quickly as possible. And if you're walking at a steady pace, you need to do it. And it's not going to be all flat ground. You may have to go uphill, downhill, around a curve, climb over some rocks, jump over a river. You need to be in somewhat of a physical shape to do that.
Yep.
That's the most underrated. The overrated, I would say, is solar. And the reason why I say solar is because you go out and buy a solar generator and you're like, okay, I'm good, I'm set.
Mm-hmm.
Freak, you got a 35-watt panel. Your house needs, 2,000 watts just to run the freaking refrigerator. You didn't do your homework, but you think that you're good because you have one solar generator.
Yep. I've also heard the people who say they're like, oh, I've got solar panels on my roof. I don't care if the grid goes down. I've got solar panels on my roof. And exactly. I'm like, well, I guess you don't really understand how those things up there quite work. So
correct.
Best of luck to you. Best of luck.
Yeah, right. Good luck with you. That feeds back into the grid. It does you no good if there is no grid. So that's the overrated solar generators. Unless you understand solar, you've literally sized your solar generator to run what you need, period. Not just have one, but you got to have a plan. Okay, if the grid's down, after 24 hours, 48 hours, I need to plug in to my refrigerator for at least 2 hours to cool it back down and get that set, then move on to the next one. And what do you do in the wintertime when it's daylight out, but the sun, there is cloud cover?
Yeah.
Do you have sufficient amount of solar panels to recharge that one solar generator you have?
Or enough juice in the solar battery bank, right? Like you bought way more watts than you're ever going to need, so you could go a couple of days on it.
Yep.
I couldn't agree with you more, Trent. You really have to size these things for your needs. You have to know your needs. You're not gonna unplug your refrigerator and run that little fucking lamp cord to your Jackery or your Opus or your Blue Yeti and run your refrigerator. You're gonna melt the cord down. It's gonna happen. You're gonna start a fire. I often say, don't think you know what you're doing. Know you know what you're doing. Know the right way to do it. Know the proper cord sizes, the things you're going to need to be able to transfer that load without issue. Right, Livingston Man seething over here because when people fuck up electrical, I mean, it just it grinds his gears really bad. So, know you know what you're doing. Know that you have enough wattage to get through it. And
listen, if you want to try your hand at plumbing, go ahead. You get a puddle on the floor. You want to try your hand at electrical, you need a fucking house fire that kills people.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And those batteries can be extremely dangerous, especially if you're not doing things right, man.
Yep.
You do not want one of those things going off in your house. It's that's not a good look for you, bro. Don't do it. Do it.
Definitely. Please, folks, size them up.
So me personally, I think the most overrated preparedness items that people waste money on is the 35-in-1 thing, right? Not necessarily the kit, but like the hammer that is a pry bar and a knife and a fucking saw, or the axe saw combo, stuff like that. I think you need solid tools that do individual jobs. Because while the 22-in-1 pry bar / hammer / axe / fish spear is really freaking cool, it's not going to do any of those jobs really well, but it will do all of those jobs kind of, right? It's just going to take a hell of a lot longer to do it. I think that's the most overrated, excuse me. And personally, I think the most underrated is water, not filtration, purification. I think water purification is one of the most underrated. I think people often confuse.
I wanted to go there, and I felt like I should save it for somebody who could explain it better.
Well, I think I think people often confuse filtration with purification. They're two totally different things.
Absolutely.
Filtration is just taking the big pieces out, so it's not so gritty when you drink it. The purification takes out the nasties that can make you sick when you drink it. So another way to look at it. But I think those are the two things. Do you guys have time for one last question here tonight?
Oh, I got a question.
Okay.
Will my Grail purify water?
Yes.
All 4 of them. So it doesn't matter which one I grab.
Correct. The purification in 8 seconds or less too, Trent. 8 seconds to press that water. Purify. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to kick this one to Vision. We're going to go with you first about this.
Okay.
Do you think society could ever return to normal after a long-term collapse, or would we have to adapt to a whole new type of civilization?
Oh my God. Well, could you give me a definition of normal?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same.
I guess we could just say.
That question was fucked up from the beginning. I'm like, well,
I guess we could just say back to today's standards. So as far as when I say standards, I'm talking working electricity, 99% of the time, running water 99% of the time, and passable roadways 99% of the time. I think that's kind of what we have right now. So would we ever return to that, or would we have to find some sort of new standard?
We would have to find a new standard, because there would be a fight amongst the elites that survived to implement what they want and what us normal people want to institute. So there again is going to be Civil War 3.0. So my answer short is it'll never go back to being normal. And yeah, there it is. Dude, that's my arm. I say no.
You can't eat that one, Cole.
Yes. He's had too many samples, so now he thinks he's allowed to just start chewing on any hand.
He's looking for attention, the big oaf.
So Cole does our quality assurance, quality control on our special blend.
He's the test subject.
Yeah.
If you're interested in what Trent and I keep referencing, you'll have to access the dark web for one.
You got to get down, bud.
You got to know
want to get down. Look at
you
him.
know certain key phrases to search for it. We don't make it that easy for our customers, but
That's right.
they pay well.
So yeah, no, it'll never go back to normal.
Yardbirds, you're 100% correct. That would be the definition of Tiawaki.
Yes.
What's that stand for? The end of the world as we know it. Yeah,
correct. Yep. Very, very good.
It's a fucking
very
dog
good.
whistle is what that is.
Very good. Sandy M. Indeed. I feel like we're kind of reliving that right now.
Yep. Exactly.
I think
Empires
we're kind of
crumble and fall. Always have and always will.
So I guess the next one we'll kick this one to is the Livingston Man. Do you think society could ever return to normal after a long-term collapse, or would we have to basically rebuild society as we know it?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to rebuild society as we know it. I think that once it's all like the house is torn down, that everyone's grievances, everybody's like, okay, here's how we don't fucking do that again. Whatever that is, I can't imagine. But I think that like presented with like we get to tear this rotten caulked together, patched up, fucking bullshitted ass house together. Once that's like just on the ground and we get to build a new one, I think that we would incorporate some of what we hold dear now, but I think that we would reject a lot of it too. I think we say like, what, that didn't work, man. I think it would be a return to a more direct form of, let's call it government. I like to, there used to be a thing called the Court of Common Pleas, which essentially was the court decided whether, not so much was what happened legal, but was it right? I think we would see a return to that sort of form of localized government, more relevant to the actual situation than some sort of fucking societal zeitgeist.
Okay. So you're talking like the local village court as opposed to like the county court, right?
A small government.
Yeah. Okay. I dig it.
We would return to like without rule of law, but more of a new rule of law.
Whatever we come up with, could we please set term limits?
Aye, Captain. Aye. Look, it's broken. Don't even want to do it.
Number two.
The bell has a term limit.
Yeah, exactly.
It has reached its term limit, indeed. Southern Tier Prepper bought me a new bell, and it's sitting on my desk at home.
And
this one needs some oil.
Put that 3-in-1 in there, or the
Call up Diddy.
The Hoppy's number 9.
I put the Diddy oil in it. I touch it, and I'm just like fading over here.
Right.
He's crashing out, y'all.
That's so bad.
So the roaming prepper. I guess you have to close us out with this question. Yeah. I saved you for last on this one, my friend, because I think he's got the right answer for us here. What do you think, Pete? Do you think society could ever return to quote unquote normal after a long-term collapse, or would we adapt to a new kind of civilization?
I think it would evolve. It's the same thing when somebody mentioned the Roman Empire. When it fell, there were the Dark Ages. Then came feudalism, but then you had the Renaissance, and people just found a way through. For instance, if it all went and the switches didn't work and the running water and the lights, in time it would work again. The knowledge we build on doesn't go away, but things will change. It won't be, people will learn from the mistakes and say, you know what, we don't need 87-year-old people running our country, who fart on the King of England or whatever somebody did a few years ago. It's going to be a case of, well, you know what, that just didn't work. So you'll see the return to, like the colonial pioneer law and the Livingston Man touch to that, where you'll elect a judge and the judge will be, you'll have your jury, but it'll be like, oh, look, you committed murder. There's the tree. And that's the end of the rape or the murder or whatever foul thing you did. Even when the lights come back on, people won't happily go back to what was, because that's how we got here in the first place. They're going to want something different, and the whole society will evolve. So I hate the phrase a new normal, but it will be a different normal.
Yeah.
There will be a new plateau where everyone will come out of the other side of this chaos and go, this is the world we think we need now after this one screwed up.
Yeah.
And I don't think the society will go away. It'll come out different. And history has proven that time and again. So the question is, we prepare so that we can make it through the hard time, so that we can participate in the other side.
Totally. And I often say that preparedness is an insurance. And what it buys you is time before you have to resupply, right? It buys you time to get that garden spun up in the spring. Shit hit the fan is going to pick its own season. And when it comes for you, I hope it's in a warm season. I'll put it that way. So at least you can get your garden going, right? Hopefully you got some seeds stocked up. I think that's one of the... we need a King Livingston Man.
King Livingston Man.
Oh, golly.
I humbly offer my services as first citizen.
Lou would be hand of the king. You just walk around with a club.
What they call it, the Romans called it a
truncheon.
Truncheon.
Something first princeps or something. The first citizen.
Oh, God.
It'd be like a mace with a middle finger on it, and then if you don't listen to the court, you just go,
it's like my little, like my scepter. It's the middle finger on it. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. Bad Blobber says it'll only take 2,000 years to get back.
It'll be faster, but it'll take a while.
Promised to me 3,000 years ago.
Yardbird says, all I know is Mad Shaddy will definitely be a warlord.
Yeah.
Old Mutt.
Right.
Hashtag Old Mutt's kids. Good to see you, Old Mutt. He says a lot depends on how many people survive. Amen.
Sure.
Old Mutt. Amen.
You know what's funny about that is that in the end, really, nobody does.
No. Nobody's going to live forever.
There's an end for you, my friend.
Yeah.
How long you want to prolong the inevitable, really?
That's the big one. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us here this evening on the Four Horsemen podcast. We ran a little over tonight, and we're going to kick it out of here because I know for a fact, an absolute fact, that the Angry Prepper is going live here in like 60 seconds. So I want to thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. Vision Preparedness, can you give these folks the last word, please, sir?
Absolutely. Folks, don't play in their game. Don't play their game. Take your toys, go home to your own sandbox, keep on prepping, keep a level head, and exercise. There we go. Special blend coming soon. Check us out on the dark web, and you too can get an order for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for investing your most precious resource with us tonight, your time. Yes. Y'all have a great night, and we will catch you tomorrow. Because we all going down Wednesday.
Yes.
Believe that. We out of here.
It just
Be
keeps
good.
getting better.
Later, folks.
Apocalypse now, 4 horsemen riding dirty. Death on the left, keep the Glock sturdy. Famine in the kitchen, hunger like a beast. War paint ready, unleash the inner beast. Pestilence drop, spread fear in the streets. Disease hit the block, no doc can compete. Horseman information, skies turning black. Future looking bleak, no turning back. 4 horsemen riding on the edge of night. Chaos in the wake, no end in sight. 4 horsemen bringing dark to the light. Want to get ready for the fright. Death smirking, souls counting in the tally. Coffins on standby, final ride in the alley. War ain't a game, got the war drum stumping. Battalion on the move, always be something. Famine hit the block, food vanish in the mist. Empty pots, empty bellies, can't even twist. Pestilence lingering, bodies hit the floor. Disease knocking at the door, can't ignore.